Hey Stoic soul, you wake up already tired, dragging yesterday's arguments behind you like invisible chains. Seconds after your eyes open, the world asks for your attention. Texts, news, someone's opinion, your own restless thoughts. You chase validation like a thirsty animal, but every compliment evaporates. There's chaos in your mind, noise on your phone, a hunger that never ends. But right now, you don't need more noise. You need a refusal, a dignified silence. The Stoics warned, whoever disturbs your peace buys your power. Today, we reveal 9 responses that silence anyone, not with drama, but with serene, unbreakable presence. So breathe. Let the noise slide past you. Ready? We begin. Imagine someone's trying to pull you into a verbal wrestling match. Your instinct? Defend. Argue. Over-explain. But the wise say, sometimes the loudest answer is no answer at all. You feel the urge to clap back, but your silence lands heavier than any comeback, echoing discipline, beyond the reach of impulse. At moments like these, stillness becomes your secret weapon. Have you ever watched a cat when it senses chaos? It freezes. Those laser-focused eyes blink. The tail twitches. It makes not a sound, as if daring the universe to make the first move. That's the level of chill you're aiming for. A quiet, internal power, impossible to shake. In a world addicted to noise and bluster, saying nothing confuses everyone, like playing Uno and dropping a reverse card without moving a muscle. Epictetus, who probably had to deal with some spectacularly annoying people in ancient Rome, taught that we don't control what others say or do, only our response. Yes, you could deliver a monologue for the history books, but what if you just don't? What if you let their words hang awkwardly in the air, fluttering to the floor like discount confetti? No witty retort, no lecture, just a silent, peace-loving aloofness, only slightly interrupted by the gentle hum of your own unbothered breathing. Think of stillness as the noise-cancelling headphones for your soul. Even if someone's spraying emotional graffiti all over your day, you get to choose whether it sticks around. Silence communicates a confidence that can't be faked. It tells the world, I know who I am, and you can't make me squirm for your entertainment. Plus, bonus, you never have to later regret the snappy comeback you thought would make you look clever, but instead lands like a soggy crouton in the soup of life. In modern times, the drama usually happens in digital form. There's a special Stoic excellence in not replying to that provocative late-night text, or not slapping a comment on an obviously trollish Facebook post. No one, ever, lost credibility by leaving someone's nonsense on scene. So next time your phone buzzes, resist the primal urge to battle. Put it face down. Inhale courage through your nose, and exhale the urge to turn into Socrates with Wi-Fi. During those rare, high-pressure meetings where the air is thick with opinionated arguments, the silent person often holds the most sway. While everyone else is busy verbally skydiving without a parachute, you sit back and watch. You notice facial tics. You hear the sighs between words. You spot the moment when passion becomes bluster, and bluster becomes full-on word salad. By not rushing to fill the stillness, you expand it. Suddenly, people turn toward you, waiting. Maybe you speak. Maybe you just nod. A grand Jedi gesture of wisdom. Because you know what's secretly true. When you're comfortable with stillness, you gain super listener powers, absorbing what others miss and spotting the deeper currents beneath the noise. Let's be clear. It's not about bottling up your emotions until you explode like a shaken can of soda on a hot summer day. Real stillness is active. Behind the quiet, your brain is running diagnostics. Am I actually upset, or just momentarily irritated? Is this a real crisis, or is my ego just screaming for attention? The pause gives your wiser self a chance to take the wheel, steering you away from the cliffs of Regret Canyon. You might worry that others will misunderstand your silence. Maybe they'll call you cold, aloof, or, gasp, boring. But here's the joke. The more comfortable you are with not needing to have the last word, the more intriguing you become. Think of all the movie heroes who never say much. They radiate mystique, not because they're holding back emotions, but because their calm is so rare it borders on magical. You become the serene duck gliding on a pond, even if your legs are paddling like mad beneath the surface. Ultimately, the power of stillness is your reminder. You don't have to attend every verbal argument you're invited to. Sometimes, in the symphony of life, your best move is to play rest. And isn't that a beautiful, radical kind of music in itself? You hear it, a sharp jab meant to sting, to corner you into a reaction. Instead, you meet the attack with a calm, almost bored curiosity. Is that so? These 3 words stop drama in its tracks, as if you're observing rain on a window, unmoved by the storm. The phrase, "Is that so?" is the Stoic's equivalent of shrugging in the face of chaos. Try it. Next time, someone launches a criticism at you, picture your co-worker, Steve, declaring loudly that your spreadsheet skills resemble a toddler finger painting. Don't rush in with a defense. Let the words roll over you like waves hitting a rock that's been there since before Steve's great-great-grandparents ever discovered Excel. Is that so? It doesn't say you're right. It doesn't say you're wrong. It just gently taps the conversation, like a neutral referee with a whistle and a fondness for herbal tea. Why does this work? Because conflict, like a campfire, needs fuel. Usually when someone hurls a verbal spark your way, what they really want is to see you burst into flames. Enter the big, beautiful bucket of stoic indifference. When you answer with, "Is that so?" you're refusing to offer the kindle. Try it out with your pet, or even your rogue houseplant. You think I water you too much? Is that so? Setsetsi. Instantly, the stakes are lower, and unless your pet is an unusually articulate parrot, things will probably settle down. There's an old Zen legend about a wise monk accused of fathering a child. When the angry villagers thrust the baby upon him, demanding atonement, he simply said, "Is that so?" and accepted the child. Months later, when the real parent confessed, the villagers returned, apologetic. The monk, his beard now perfect for storing raisins, again replied, "Is that so?" No indignation. No passive-aggressive post on ancient Facebook. Just, "Is that so?" And the world kept spinning. Now this is not a license to become emotionally comatose. You're not training to be a robot, unless your name is C3PO and you moonlight as a Stoic philosopher. You're just stepping out of the dance of knee-jerk defensiveness. You realize that not every comment is a command performance. Sometimes, people are simply offering their own weather report. You can acknowledge the clouds and carry on. There is a proud dignity in not taking the bait. Use this in rush hour traffic when someone cuts you off and gestures in ways that would not be approved by Marcus Aurelius or your mum. Is that so? As you inch forward, air conditioning on, favorite cheesy playlist rolling. It's you, the gentle observer, and the world doing what it does. You might even discover there's a secret superpower in not being rattled. The next time a troll shows up in your group chat, unleash your inner Stoic. Is that so? Bonus points if you imagine yourself in a toga while replying. Extra bonus points if you actually have a toga. So, the next time criticism buzzes into your life, like an angry bee, don't grab the swatter. Let it hover. Give it a polite, "Is that so?" and watch it drift away, confused. No drama, no fireworks. Just you, chill as a monk, ready for whatever comes next. Maybe even a nap. Isn't it nice to know the world can try to ruffle your feathers, and you can just look at the ruffles and say, "Is that so?" You're confronted. Accusations fly. Instead of defending, you calmly mirror. What makes you say that? A question, not a defense. The pressure shifts back onto them. Your serenity becomes contagious. Suddenly, the aggressor hears the echo of their own mind. Questions are the philosopher's shield and the Stoic's tennis racket. Instead of letting someone spike their outrage directly at your face, you gently lob it right back over the net, soft, high, and floating awkwardly above their head. The conversation transforms. You're no longer playing emotional dodgeball. Now, you're inviting a game of psychological ping pong. Why does this bother you? How did you come to feel that way? Each question opens a space, a kind of conversational waiting room. Inside this pause, accusations unravel. The ball is in their court, and you, my sleep-seeking friend, are sipping philosophical lemonade on the sidelines. Do you sense a pattern in your family reunions, perhaps, where every turkey dinner features a side of passive-aggressive stuffing? Imagine this time when Uncle Greg launches into his annual critique of your career choices. YouTube channel? Faceless videos? In my day, we had jobs you could point at. You don't offer justifications or weathered explanations. Instead, you ask, "What worries you about my choices, Uncle Greg?" This moment isn't about Socratic jiu-jitsu for the sake of cleverness. It's about exposing yourself and the other to what's really going on. The assumptions beneath emotions, the stories behind statements. The Stoics remind us, questions release us from autopilot. If statements are arrows, sharp, direct, meant to pierce, then questions are mirrors. They reflect, deflect, and invite reconsideration. By asking why, how, or what leads them to their point, you gently return them to their own reasoning. Sometimes, that reasoning turns out to be about as sturdy as a cheap IKEA bookshelf. The person confronting you now has to inspect their own logic. Most confrontations wilt under the gentle sunlight of self-scrutiny. It's hard to be furious when you realize your anger was assembled with only 3 screws and a vague instruction manual. This strategy isn't just nifty for big dramatic conflicts. It's equally potent with the petty stuff. A co-worker nitpicks your choice of font. Why do you think Arial Bold makes you feel so strongly? Watch as their certainty deflates. I just always liked Times New Roman. That's it. Now the war of the serifs may finally end. Of course, there's an art to I'm asking. Not every question is created philosophical. What's your problem? Delivered through clenched teeth isn't existential inquiry. It's just gasoline on the bonfire. No, we're after the gentle curiosity of Marcus Aurelius, who might respond, "What is truly threatened here? What pain are we protecting?" These questions are delivered with the tenderness of a bedtime lullaby for your opponent's ego. If you make questioning your default, you become a kind of sorrow sponge, able to soak up stray negativity and wring out the useful insights. Sometimes, a mirror response uncovers confusion in the other. Maybe they actually admire you, or envy you, or are simply projecting last night's indigestion onto your daytime confidence. Other times, the questions unearth pain. I worry I wasted my own dreams, and seeing you chase yours stirs regret. Now you're not enemies. You're both humans, drinking the same mug of bittersweet tea. So the next time someone throws verbal stones, Do not fortify your castle walls. Don't start tossing boulders in return. Instead, place a big, polished mirror at the entrance. Watch as their projectiles tumble back to their own feet, gently and almost comically. Sometimes, the bravest response isn't to take a stand, but simply to ask, smooth, calm, and impossibly even-tempered, what makes you say that? And then rest, knowing you've planted a seed of self-reflection that may, with luck and a little laughter, blossom before sunrise. They lecture. They nitpick. You simply nod. Thank you for sharing. Your words are polite, but impenetrable, a velvet rope between your peace and their opinion. Behind this phrase lies the wisdom of not allowing their judgments to shape your reality. The world brims with armchair philosophers, unsolicited advisors, and expert nitpickers. Those noble souls who can spot one mismatched sock from across the street and lecture you as if you'd invented laundry errors. Picture yourself at a family dinner. Uncle Jerry, gripping his third bread roll, decides to explain the secrets of your own job to you. He shares, you smile, you resist the urge to stage a daring bread roll heist, and you say, thank you for sharing. Inside, you're Zeno of Citium on a cozy cloud, impervious to petty weather. Stoic detachment, despite its intimidating name, doesn't mean ignoring people or fleeing to a cave, though, let's be honest, caves are looking great on booking.com these days. It's the art of building an invisible, slightly bouncy barrier. Every comment that comes your way lands, boings, and softly falls to the carpet. This approach protects your inner peace, offers no ammunition for escalation, and maintains the social grace necessary to avoid family group chat exiles. It's both shield and olive branch, detached but never cruel. But beware, the thank you for sharing mystique works precisely because it's a handshake, not a slap. It signals, I see your perspective, but I am not required to let it rent space in my psyche. When you deploy it, stone-faced or with a Mona Lisa smile, others sense a gentle boundary. You haven't argued, you haven't agreed, you've simply proven that you are not a mooring post for their passing storms. Let's dissect why this works so well. People often project their anxieties and preferences onto others, like eager graffiti artists with a fresh wall. They want your compliance, your assent, perhaps even your outrage. To yield is to let them draw, in neon colors, their vision over your hard-earned tranquility. Thank you for sharing is your paint-resistant coating, turning their efforts into fleeting street art, washed away with the next rain of reason. The phrase isn't absence, it's presence. You're there, you're listening, but you aren't taking passengers right now. Picture Marcus Aurelius at the Roman Forum, citizens clamour, senators pontificate, and he, legendary in his composure, acknowledges each with that internal nod. Thank you for sharing, as he sips his imaginary oat milk latte. Stoicism, after all, isn't heartlessness. It's heart guarded by discernment, humour, and the occasional strategic yawn. Let's not pretend, though, that it's always easy. Sometimes, the critic is disguised as your best friend, or a boss holding the key to your next promotion, or your overly enthusiastic neighbour with the world's largest zucchini. When their commentary drips with passive aggression or unchecked zeal, the urge to retort is strong. But, armed with stoic detachment, you remember, their words are external. Your reaction is optional. Much like choosing whether or not to attend a mandatory meeting that strongly encourages haiku recitations. So, the next time someone delivers a critique or an unwanted opinion, perhaps with a flourish fit for a TED Talk, pause. Feel the urge to explain or defend dissolve like instant coffee. Offer a gentle nod. Smile as if you know something they do not. Whisper, thank you for sharing. On the surface, you're dishing out courtesy. Underneath, you're practicing the interior alchemy of Stoic freedom. The beauty is, no one but you knows what's happening. The world continues its noisy march. Commentators comment, critics critique, but your mind glides above, a serene Stoic submarine, silent, steady, and gloriously unsinkable. Opinions get thrown like darts. You catch them with a smile. That's one way to see it. Each time, you reaffirm quiet confidence, making it clear you don't need to win, convince, or convert. You stand in your center, unmoved. Let's face it, everyone is a part-time philosopher with a minor in unsolicited advice. Someone says, "I can't believe you still use an umbrella. Umbrellas are for the weak." Another assures you the only path to fulfillment lies in keeping your socks color-coordinated. These opinions swoop in like pigeons at a picnic, aiming for your sandwich of peace. But thanks to your Stoic training, you don't need to hand over the bread. You simply nod, acknowledge their reality, and maybe inwardly congratulate yourself for not being lured into yet another game of who can out-opinion whom. Because here's the secret sauce, simmered in the kitchen of Seneca and Epictetus. The world is basically an all-you-can-eat buffet of perspectives. Some people love the olives. Some people despise the olives. And some people will compose passionate anti-olive manifestos in your DMs. Your job is not to swap out your plate every time someone gasps, "You're eating that." Your job, noble Stoic in training, is to savor your own dish without shame, envy, or the compulsion to Instagram a counter-argument. Of course, you have your own opinions. Maybe you think pineapple does belong on pizza, or that the best time for deep philosophical reflection, precisely 3 minutes before your alarm clock rings. Stand by your oddball views with quiet poise. Marcus Aurelius probably never had to defend his taste in pizza toppings, but if he did, he'd have nodded, sipped his herbal tea, and simply returned to contemplating nature. The truly unmoved person is not the one with no opinions. They're the one who recognizes opinions as clouds passing through the sky of consciousness. Sometimes the clouds are fluffy. Sometimes they look suspiciously like middle fingers. Either way, the sky remains the sky. Imagine for a moment you're at a dinner party. The subject of best sci-fi franchise arises, as it always does. Someone across the table proclaims, "Clearly Star Wars is superior to Star Trek in every way." You smile, not because you agree, but because there is an unspoken joy in witnessing the certainty of others about things that, in the grand cosmic ledger, are about as significant as choosing between oat milk and almond milk. You offer your Serene classic. That's one way to see it. Instantly, you become a master of conversational Aikido, gently redirecting wild opinions and letting them tumble harmlessly into the ether. Owning your perspective isn't about building a fortress of stubbornness around your ideas. It's about recognizing that even your dearest opinions are guests in your home, not tyrannical landlords. They can visit, they can have tea, and sometimes they can even stay for dinner. But they don't get to rearrange the furniture every time Cousin Gary gets fired up about the Oxford comma. Besides, opinions are like eyebrows. Everyone has at least 2, and sometimes they're wildly out of alignment. That's simply part of being human. Embracing this paradoxical mess means you can listen to someone else's worldview, however wild, or listen to your own with the same gentle amusement. When someone tries to rope you into their emotional stampede or enlist you in a Twitter feud, you can just smile, let their words drift by, and return to your internal weather forecast. Chance of showers, high probability of someone thinking I'm wrong. This brand of detachment isn't cold. It's delightfully warm. People sense it too. Eventually, when you don't react, don't escalate, and don't fluff your feathers over every remark, you become a comfort zone for others' anxieties to settle. Some will mistake your steadiness for indifference. In truth, it's radical acceptance of your view, their view, and the oddness of life itself. And hey, you can always change your mind about umbrellas tomorrow. After all, that's just another way to see it. Sometimes, the warrior's answer is not armor, but gentle honesty. I don't know. You might be right. When used without fear, these phrases turn conflict into calm, admitting humanity where egos crave dominance. In uncertainty, you become untouchable. Imagine you're in a heated debate about, let's say, the correct way to make a cup of tea. Your opponent fixes you with the steely glare of someone ready to fight in the Great Teapot War of 2024. The battle lines are drawn. Milk first or after? Lemon, folly or delight? But instead of unsheathing your verbal sword, you sigh, smile, and say the forbidden words. I have no idea. I just use whatever mug is clean. The other person blinks. He's expecting armor, but you hand him a teddy bear. The fight evaporates. Suddenly, he too is just a person holding a mug, unarmed and maybe even a little amused. Vulnerability is kryptonite for aggression. It's as if you opened your emotional trench coat at the negotiating table and revealed a bunch of soft kittens. No one can slap a kitten. The power dynamic shifts, not with the weight of your argument, but the lightness of your humility. The room fills with the kind of silence that only honest imperfection can bring, and, sometimes, a bit of relief. Stoics weren't statues. They stubbed toes on table legs, just like we do, probably wearing togas with unfortunate drafts. But what set them apart was their willingness to confess their limitations. The ancient Roman emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake, or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change. It's the truth I'm after." Imagine telling this to your neighbor who insists their cat is the reincarnation of Julius Caesar. I could be wrong, you say. Maybe those meows are imperial decrees. Instantly, the energy drains from the confrontation. The need for victory dissolves. Both of you float a little lighter. Sometimes our fear of admitting, not knowing, is more dangerous than ignorance itself. We build intellectual forts, firing arrows of Google facts, all because we're afraid of appearing, what? Human. Meanwhile, life is throwing pies at us and asking if we want whipped cream or humility with that. Try answering the next impossible question at work with, "You know, I honestly have no clue, but let's find out together." Suddenly, your boss is no longer defense attorney, and you're no longer defendant. You're two detectives in the world's least exciting whodunit, and it's oddly freeing. By allowing transparency to step into the ring, you find that vulnerability does not weaken you. It disarms drama. If you're ever tempted to puff yourself up when challenged, remember, peacocks look impressive until they try to fly. In day-to-day skirmishes over chores, deadlines, or whose leftovers smell more suspicious, let vulnerability be the gentle rain that settles the dust. It's okay to confess uncertainty. It's even better if you can do it with a smile and a raised eyebrow. I don't know, but your theory about the missing socks being the result of quantum entanglement is intriguing. What happens next? Laughter, maybe. Or at the very least, peace. Every time you lower your shield, someone else does too. Eventually, the whole field becomes a picnic. No more war paint, only watermelon slices and the soft, sweet hum of ordinary human connection. This, in the end, is the Stoic secret. Not the absence of trouble, but the skillful dance of gentle honesty amid its chaos. Each calm confession is a little diffusal, snipping the red wire before drama can detonate. And if you do it often enough, you might just find the world doesn't need as many armored warriors as it does peaceful, pajama, wearing philosophers, ready to nap comfortably after saying, "I don't know." You sense the energy spiral, the air thick with challenge. With poise, you steer, "Let's focus on what matters." As if drawing blinds in a storm, you command the atmosphere toward clarity, reminding everyone that storms end and stillness remains. Imagine this. You're at a table, surrounded by people who have arrived carrying their miniature thunders. Someone brings up the email never replied to. Another. The project deadline now wobbling dangerously like a three-legged chair. A third sighs with the weight of the universe. A great, big, melodramatic sigh. The kind that says, "I have seen the abyss, and it is the conference call scheduled for 3 p.m. Energy crackles. But here's where your inner Stoic starts its slow-motion, dramatic entrance. You do not allow this tempest to topple your reason. You recall Epictetus, forever wise and endlessly patient, whispering in your ear, "We cannot control the storms, but we are the captains of our sails." You imagine yourself, inexplicably, in a toga. Everyone looks at you funny. You brush crumbs of ancient wisdom from your philosophical lap, lean in, and pull the conversation gently but firmly back to harbour. "Can we agree," you say, voice smooth as marble, "that not every storm needs to become a flood?" You're not denying the thunder, you're just suggesting, maybe we don't all have to get wet. The redirect, is a subtle art. It's less about squashing complaints, though, really, wasn't that last sigh a bit much? And more about inviting focus. It's not that you're declaring, "Let there be peace," or else. It's more like, "Hey friends, let's set down our metaphorical lightning bolts. Let's see what remains when we redirect our gaze." You trade agitation for examination. Questions become oars. What's within our control right now, you ask? What requires action? What can we simply observe, like clouds passing? Suddenly, the emotional humidity lifts. People squint in the sunlight of reason and say, "Oh, maybe that meeting at 3 p.m. isn't the end of civilization. Maybe it's just another calendar event to endure, with occasional snacks." Notice, this redirect is not a magic wand to banish inconvenience or complaint. No, the goal is stillness, not delusion. Storms arrive, deadlines and disagreements and missing soup spoons persist. What shifts is the willingness to dwell in fury versus the gentle invitation to step onto a cooler, quieter shore. In this way, the focus realigns. The group orbits what actually matters, which usually isn't the third retelling of the disastrous email saga, but the next step, the next breath, the next sensible choice. Comedic relief helps. Let's rank our problems by the number of times they've reappeared in this meeting. Winner gets a stress ball. Runner-up, free therapy meme. The laughter doesn't solve everything, but it cracks the shell of tension so calm can ooze in. You notice people leaning back, not forward. Sighs become smaller, more forgivable, almost decorative. Now the art of moving from storm to stillness depends upon your tone. It's not the forced hush of a grumpy librarian, but the steady hand of a ship's captain. We're still in choppy waters, but nobody's reaching for the lifeboats yet. We'll get to shore, step by sensible step. And, as the minutes pass, something shifts. You sense the conversation has regained gravity, but the storm, for now, has passed. You, the redirector, have not obliterated the clouds. You've just invited everyone to look up and notice. The sky is bigger than they remembered. This is the legacy of moving from storm to stillness. Not suppression, not denial, but a gentle encouragement. Let's not dwell in the drama. Let's steer toward understanding. When the meeting ends, people rise lighter, as if the weight of 1,000 irrelevant complaints has been left on the table between empty coffee cups. You gather your notes, your toga, metaphorical unless it's a themed Friday, and walk away knowing that sometimes the greatest change in a room comes not from shouting above the thunder, but from calmly reminding others. Storms pass, stillness remains, and snacks are always welcome. Sarcasm, mockery, attack. Meet it with a smirk and gentle humor. You deflate tension not by escalating, but by refusing to take anything too personally. With laughter, you stay detached, reminding all that dignity wears a grin. Now, imagine sitting in a crowded coffee shop, minding your stoic business, when someone at the next table snorts at your oat milk latte and murmurs, "Real philosophers drink espresso." This is a crossroads moment. You could take the bait. You could launch into a 20-minute TED Talk on Seneca's views on non-dairy alternatives. Or you can simply raise your glass, smile, and declare, "I only drink milk from the wisest oats." Just like that, crisis averted, and with flair. This is the quiet martial art of lightness, a gentle, almost sneaky discipline that requires as much technique as any philosophical self-inventory. When hostility circles overhead like a particularly grumpy seagull, humor is your stylish umbrella. It says, "Go ahead, try to rain on my parade. I brought confetti." You're not running from conflict, you're waltzing right through it, in mismatched socks and a hat too small for your head. Because truly, what's more disarming than responding to snark with a twinkle in your eye and a pun on your lips? Stoics of old understood that a soul weighed down with outrage is a soul that can't soar. Epictetus himself might have chortled at a well-placed joke, had he not been so busy outwitting life's cosmic slapstick with unshakable calm. The point is not to turn pain into mockery, but to turn mockery itself into a passing cloud, light, formless, and brushed aside with a word. When someone tries to rain on your good mood, remember, giggling is never off limits. Sometimes it is the only reasonable reaction. Let's face it, the world is full of people armed with barbs, comebacks, and the emotional equivalent of Nerf darts. Why show up in full armor when you can stroll past wearing a balloon animal hat? Even Marcus Aurelius, the most intimidating dead guy to ever keep a journal, once wrote that nothing damages the spirit so much as giving in to anger. So, when negativity arrives looking for a fight, invite it in for tea, and serve it a slice of your best self-irony. Hostility, meet hilarity. Hilarity, be a deer, and show hostility the door. Lightness, of course, isn't about escaping reality. It's about refusing to get stuck in the mud that others would love to sling. Humor washes the muck away, leaving a little sparkle on your sandals and a lingering suspicion that you might, in fact, enjoy being underestimated. If you stumble in public, bow low and announce, "My latest innovation, sidewalk yoga." If a friend's sarcasm cuts a little deep, counter with, "Was that supposed to sting, or are you just here to exfoliate my ego?" Instead of letting jabs turn into jousts, let them fizzle out in the face of your light touch. The Stoic superpower isn't a cold shoulder. It's that sly smile that says, "You can't dent me because I'm made of marshmallows and moonbeams." You train your mind not just to resist, but to bend, turning the weight of other people's attitude into your own parade float, absurd and untroubled. The true Stoic knows every heckle is just another chance to practice dignity with a dash of absurdity. Hostility wins only when it gets the last word. Humor wins when no one needs a victory because everyone's already laughing. This discipline doesn't just guard your composure, it infects a room, relaxes tight shoulders, and gives others permission to choose kindness over chaos. In a world itching for arguments, a quick wit and peaceful heart are the finest shields you'll ever own. You sense your energy leaking. The point's been made, or never will be. With a calm finality, you close. This conversation is over. No anger, just serenity. The boundary is drawn, invisible but unmistakable, as you walk away with the rare currency of self-control. But let us be clear, whispering, "This conversation is over," is not the verbal equivalent of slamming a door, launching into a Shakespearean monologue, or dropping a smoke bomb and vanishing into a dramatic cloud of existential angst. Picture instead a gentle but unwavering bouncer with an enviable moral beard, checking IDs at the nightclub of your attention. They find the conversation is no longer on the guest list, and politely, but firmly, ask it to step outside. No threats, no drama, just velvet rope. Inner Peace Edition. Kids and philosophers know this ancient art. Children wield "I'm done" with notorious effectiveness, retreating to pillow forts of power and focusing on snacks, which Stoics, ancient and modern, would probably endorse if they lived through enough awkward dinner parties. The adult version, however, is more measured and, ideally, less likely to involve juice boxes being thrown. Saying, "This conversation is over," is not about winning or losing. It's about recognizing you're no longer obliged to paddle around in circles in the river pointless. It's the realization that the other person may be knee-deep in emotional quicksand, holding out the "let's drag this out" branch for you to grab, but you, wise Stoic that you are, simply choose not to. You prioritize your tranquility, treat your mental energy as a precious resource, and refuse the invitation to a debate that would make Socrates set down his hemlock in mild frustration. Here lies the beauty of boundaries, which ancient Stoics might have called the art of the dignified exit. You don't need to justify, escalate, or invent plot twists. Picture Epictetus at a 24-hour diner at 2 a.m. Someone's arguing that the moon is, in fact, made of cheese. Epictetus, quietly stirring his black coffee, simply says, "This conversation is over," and returns to contemplating how to live well, and maybe whether cheese could even survive on the moon. There's strength in that restraint. In a world where everyone seems to demand one more response, another volley, a final unanswerable zinger, you instead declare, through calm silence, that you control your own exit. You can almost feel Marcus Aurelius nod appreciatively over his cornflakes, grateful that you're not adding more noise to the world's already overflowing basket of unsolvable debates. The true Stoic boundary, a simple sentence, a clear intention, functions like those magical force fields in sci-fi movies, except invisible, less buzzworthy, and much easier to maintain. You don't need a dramatic soundtrack. You just need the willingness to accept that you can't control the opinions, actions, or emotional weather patterns of other people. All you can do is control yourself, and sometimes that means choosing not to engage. Ironically, the greatest conversation stopper is not volume, but calmness. It confuses drama seekers, silences overzealous debaters, and gives you the freedom to reclaim your time for things that actually matter, like pursuing virtue or getting snacks, as the ancient sages might have if grocery stores had existed in 3rd century Rome. Remember, every "this conversation is over" genuinely spoken is not lost. It's invested. The dividends, sanity, serenity, and possibly a peaceful night's sleep. So, if you need to, draw that line. Do it for your soul, your sleep, and in honor of all the Stoics who wanted nothing more than a little quiet and a comfortable seat. Preferably far from someone trying to prove the moon is made of cheese. You know the final move. To leave without a word. Like a teacher dismissing class with a bell. No explanation, no apology, no performance. In your calm departure, every unsaid word echoes your strength. You are absent, yet your silence lingers like thunder in the distance. If silence is golden, then you are Fort Knox on legs, unlocking the rare art of vanishing with dignity, not drama. While others exhaust themselves in a flurry of justifications, raising a dust storm of just so you know, you simply stand up, straighten your back, and exit with the poise of someone whose soul charges long-distance roaming fees for unnecessary explanations. They may stare, mouths half open, eyes tracking the door, as if it whispered the answer to a riddle. But you know the real answer. Silence requires no defense. Let them scramble to fill the gap you've left behind. There's an ancient Stoic saying, well, if there isn't, there should be. He who walks away with calm writes the final line. While the world expects fireworks, you deliver the storm after the lightning, the stillness that follows a crashing wave. In that absence lies a magnetic paradox. The less you say, the louder you seem. Whole histories can fit inside a single pointed silence. It's not passive aggression. That silence weighed down by fury. This is effortless, serene, like a cat choosing which windowsill to nap on. You are not withholding words to punish. You're stepping aside to refill the well, to guard your peace. After all, wasn't it Epictetus who said, "If it's not yours, don't pick it up"? Why should you hoist another person's anxieties or invitations to chaos? Think of the world's greatest plot twists. The silent cowboy riding out of town at dusk. The monk retreating up the mountain. The hero who forgoes the mic drop because dropping the mic is just, well, noisy. Your silence is not a void. It is an answer in a language older than words. A dialect understood only by those patient enough to listen for a heartbeat beneath the surface. Of course, you may hear echoes of confusion in your wake. The hurried texts. Everything okay? The emails, punctuated by question marks that look desperate in 12-point font. Let them wonder. Your power is in being unknowable, unshakable, and gloriously undramatic, like a chess master who forgoes the final checkmate move. Leave. Your opponent, staring at the board, pondering their every step, while you stroll toward a cup of tea and the next sunrise. Peace doesn't always look impressive. Sometimes it's as humble as shutting a door quietly or letting a conversation dissolve into the dusk. While others are busy rehearsing comebacks in the shower, you're humming a tune, already free. No explanation is your boundary. No performance, your protest. When your silence is charged with calm intent, it says everything necessary. You no longer have access to disturb my waters. You don't silence others. You simply step out of the echo chamber. Congratulations, you are now that mysterious figure people whisper about at midnight. Discussed, misunderstood, never diminished. The ultimate reversal isn't about winning or losing. It's about exiting a scene so softly that your absence reshapes the entire narrative, like a cornerstone quietly removed but never forgotten. Let the noise rage on. You've discovered something rare, the strength to leave, not as a retreat, but as an act of sovereign stillness. As the world tries to tug you into its storm, be the person who leaves quietly, dignity trailing behind like a crown unseen, but always felt. You came here aching for power over the noise, the relentless demands, the endless opinions. Tonight, you learn the secret. It's not about silencing the world. It's about finding the silence within yourself, so solid that nothing can shake it loose. The 9 responses you heard tonight aren't tricks or tactics. They're shields forged in discipline, dignity, and detachment. By choosing them, you join the rare ones, warriors who master reaction, not for show, but for calm. As you fall asleep, remember, you owe no one an explanation for your peace. You don't need to answer every challenge, argue every point, or win every battle. You are the silence in the storm. The proof of your worth is in your quiet presence. You already are enough. Walk quietly, walk free,